Presbyterian String Band. My name is Becky Millinger. This is Marcia Schaefer, and we're singing some Civil War tunes. They were strolling through the morning when the roses were in bloom, and a soldier and his sweetheart brave and true, and their hearts were filled with sorrow as the thoughts were of tomorrow, as she bent the rose upon his skirts of blue. Do not ask my love to linger, for I know not what to say, or do because your sweetheart's near you again, and your heart need not be crying if a love amongst the dying. I'll be with you when the roses bloom again. When the roses bloom again beside the river, when the robin redbreast sings his sweet refrain, in the days of old lang syne, I'll be with you, sweetheart mine. I'll be with you when the roses bloom again. In the rattle of the battle came a whisper soft and low from a soldier who had fallen in the fray. I am dying, Captain, dying, and I know I have to go, but I want one promise ere I pass away. There's a far and distant river where the roses are in bloom, and a little girl is pleading all in vain, and it's there I pray you take me. I'm a thankful, don't forsake me. I'll be with her when the roses bloom again. When the roses bloom again beside the river, and the robin redbreast sings its sweet refrain, in the days of old lang syne, I'll be with you, sweetheart mine. I'll be with you when the roses bloom again. I'll be with you when the roses bloom again.
Okay, from the earliest times in St. Genevieve, slavery was part of it. Some of the most prominent names in St. Genevieve also happen to be slave owners. During the 1830s, Germans began coming into St. Genevieve, and they were generally against slavery. Now, Missouri was a divided state, along with Kentucky, Delaware, Maryland, and West Virginia. They were all what they called border states. In 1850, the Dred Scott decision came down. There was a similar decision, or an event similar, that took place here in St. Genevieve. On April 12, 1861, the Confederate Navy fired at Fort Sumter, South Carolina, and this was the beginning of the Civil War. On May 10, 1861, Nathaniel Lyon attacked the militia who they thought were going to capture the arsenal in St. Louis. A riot erupted. Lyon's troops, a Missouri militia, mainly composed of German immigrants, opened fire on the attacking crowd, killing 28 and injuring 100. On June 22, 1861, Nathaniel Lyons captured Jefferson City, with the Claiborne Jackson, Governor and General Sterling Price, and his Missouri State Guard leaving to set up a provisional government in Neosho, Missouri. Following the Wilson Creek Battle on August 10, 1861, General John C. Fremont imposed martial law on the state and issued an order freeing the slaves of Missourians who were in rebellion. The property, real and personal, of all persons in the state of Missouri who shall take up arms against the United States and who shall be directly proven to have taken active part with their enemies in the field is declared to be confiscated to the public use, and their slaves, if any, they have, are hereby declared free. St. Louis, Missouri, August 14, 1861. Colonel C.C. Marsh, commanding officer at Cape Girardeau. Sir, you are hereby directed to send a detachment of 250 men of the American Zulus under the Major McDonald with one field piece to attack a force of rebels in St. Genevieve County. Lieutenant Colonel St. James of the Southeast Missouri Rifle Regiment will act as guide. Transport will be retained for the troops at St. Genevieve. After executing the above order, the officer commanding the detachment must take possession of the money of the branch of the Merchants Bank of St. Louis at St. Genevieve and bring the said same forthwith to this city. J.C. Fremont, Major General Commanding.
Lock this door away, please. Well, gentlemen, what brings you here this morning? Brandishing guns and swords. Bandit. Gentlemen, I don't know what you're here for this morning, but I think you'll not pass this threshold.
Mr. Roser, my name is Major McDonald. We are here by orders of General Fremont to confiscate the money from the Merchants Bank to prevent the money to be being stolen by rebels or rebel sympathizers. The money will be transported to a sacred location in St. Louis.
Confiscate, you say?
For safety. Your safety.
Get out of town, Jackie.
Excuse me, sir. Are you part of that scum who is causing trouble in Missouri?
No, I'm just a resident here, and that's my money in that bank.
Here.
It's my money too. Not mine.
Sir, there are rebels and rebel sympathizers in this town. We are here for your protection and protection of the Union Army. We do not want this money. We do not want this money to be stolen by the rebels or any rebel sympathizers. And enough of this. We will proceed to do our duty.
Sir, can you produce some documentation?
We have an order by General Fremont to be here.
I have connections with General Fremont, sir.
Excuse me, ma'am. Roy Wagon, please.
What, now your men harass my citizens on the streets of St. Genevieve?
We'll bring it back. Sergeant, come with me. They're going into the bank. Open the door, sir.
Ma'am, Mr. Roger, don't let him in. No, I will take care of you, ma'am. I will see to it. No, sir. We're not. No, I tell you no. I got the keys, and you're going to need me to unlock that door.
Unlock that door. Sergeant, do your duty.
Boy, watch your blanket. Don't quite boil.
Stand guard, man.
Who ever heard of such a thing? Will we get our money back?
Sure you will. You can trust us. We're the federal government representatives.
How do you expect me to take this money all the way to where you say St. Louis? It's so heavy. Give me a hand with this.
Can we get a wagon? Right there, sir.
Good citizens of St. Genevieve, I assure you, if my name are not Furman A. Rozier, that I will accompany this money all the way to St. Louis to secure it for you, the citizens of St. Genevieve, and especially for the depositors in this institution. All right, gentlemen.
Be careful, Mr. Rozier.
Citizens of St. Genevieve, on my arrival at this place, I found such a disposition on the part of parties who sympathize with the rebel forces as to seriously alarm the Union men for the safety of their lives and property. I deem it my duty to warn all persons who may in any way be connected with such forces that they will be held individually responsible both in their persons and property for any outrage which may be committed on Union men here.
Get on with it, Major.
When reliably informed of such, I will not hesitate to return at once to this city and retaliate in the most summary manner. It will be no excuse that they did not assist the rebels. They must prevent any outages on Union men or take the consequences. John McDonald, Major Commanding Forces at this post. Soldiers, please distribute this notice to the townspeople. Townspeople, please post these notices around town so that the rebels or any rebel sympathizers are informed of my request. Be forewarned. Mr. Rozier, you have your safe. You have your money. Sergeant, form up the soldiers. Form up.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mark my word, I will accompany this money all the way to St. Louis and secure it. Or are we going to Cape? Where did you say we're going?
St. Louis.
I'll be there.
General Fremont.
I'll be there.
Company. 3 men on this side. 3 men on this side. One in the rear.
How about a couple of your fine youngsters on this handle?
All right. We can do that.
Sergeant, please accommodate Mr. Rozier's request.
Are you going to sit down on it? Are you going to ride, sir? You all right, sir?
I'm fine.
Company. Shoulder arms. Forward march.
Back to camp, Sergeant.
bet.
I will return.
August 15th, 16th, 1861. Expedition to St. Genevieve, Missouri. Report of Major John McDonald, 8th Missouri Infantry, St. Louis, Missouri, August 17th, 1861. Sir, for information of the General commanding the Department of the West, I have the honor, very respectably, to submit the following report. Agreeably to instructions dated Headquarters, U.S. Forces, Cape Girardeau, August 15, 1861, I proceeded with 250 men of the 8th Regiment Missouri Volunteers and Lieutenant Morgan and 12 men of the artillery on board the steamer Hannibal City at 11 a.m. on the 15th instant for St. Genevieve, Missouri. Arrived there at 11:50 p.m., same date. I immediately ordered my command to surround the city and remained in silence until daylight. When I made inquiry relative to the whereabouts of the rebel camp and was informed that none were nearer than the irregular encampment near Pilot Knob. I made due inquiry as to the inhabitants, their sentiments, and such, and found that very few Union men were among them, and these few were so timid as to fail to express their sentiments that I thought it necessary to issue a proclamation, for which I have the honor herewith to enclose a copy. I then caused the branch of the Merchants Bank of St. Louis to be opened, and I took from it a box said to contain $28,633.30 in coin and $29,680 in currency. Total of $58,313.30. And brought the same on board the steamer, which I have the honor to turn over to you in person. Stockholders and directors expressed great gratification at taking the money, remarking that they considered it in better, safer hands than with the rebels had added, which it was thought would be the case in a few days, as I was informed the cashier had left for the rebel camp with that view. I am, sir, very respectfully your obedient servant, John McDonald, Major, 8th Regiment, Missouri, commanding expedition to Assistant Adjutant General, Headquarters, Department West, St. Louis, Missouri. Headquarters, St. Genevieve, Missouri, August 15, 1861. To the citizens of St. Genevieve, on my arrival at this place, found such a disposition of the parties who sympathize with rebel forces as to seriously alarm the Union men for safety in their lives and property. I deem it duty to warn all persons who in any way may be connected with such forces that they will be held individually responsible, both in their person and property, for any outrage which may be committed on Union men here. When reliably informed of such, I will not hesitate to return at once to this city and retaliate in the most summary manner. It will be no excuse that they did not assist the rebels. They must prevent any outrage on Union men or take the consequences. John McDonald, Major Commanding Officer. The Civil War, in reality, was to affect St. Genevieve like it did all of Missouri. There was no major battles here. The closest one was at Pilot Knob in September of 1864.
Where is he going?
There were guerrillas, Confederate guerrillas, bushwhackers. One of the most famous in this area was Sam Hildebrand, and his brother was hung in St. Genevieve for horse stealing. There were deployment of troops from this area going down the river for the Battle of Vicksburg. We had the enrolled Missouri militia here, and it was the 78th. Oaths and allegiances were required. Bonds of 1,000 were required for suspected Confederate sympathizers. In 1864, the courthouse was taken over by federal forces, and they held it for the duration of the war. They left it in quite disarray, and in 1906 they finally paid for the damages. Counting minor engagements, actions, and skirmishes, something you all might not know, Missouri saw over 1,200 distinct fights. Only Virginia and Tennessee had more. Missouri supplied nearly 110,000 troops to the Union and at least 30,000 troops for the Confederate Army and additional bands of pro-Confederate guerrillas. I want to take a moment and thank the Show Me Shop, the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, and we had a couple of camps from out of town that joined us for this, who participated. The Felix Valley House, State Historic Site, right up the road, we're going to have a little encampment that we started early this morning. I also want to thank the band with no name, two lovely ladies. And we invite you to stop by the camp. We have a list of soldiers, over 800 of them Union soldiers, and a number of Confederates that served from St. Genevieve. And a lot of times we can even tell you where they were buried at. So, and we have displays that you can learn about the camp life of a Union soldier. Once again, thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And be sure and enjoy the rest of your day in St. Genevieve. Thank you.